Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim. Here are your top stories for today. Kidnapped victims regained freedom from bandits in Zamfara state. House of Representatives urged federal government to lift embargo on employment into civil service. Senate confirms ABDULRASHEED Bawa as EFCC chairman. On business, ministries, departments and agencies return 1.7 trillion naira corruption proceeds to federal government. On international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari expresses satisfaction with the election outcome in Niger Republic. On sports, victorious Falcons depart Turkey in batches. Now the news in details. 12 kidnapped victims, mostly women, have regained their freedom from bandits operating in Bungudu local government area of Zamfara state. Their release came barely a few days after 3 notorious bandits surrendered their arms to the state government, having accepted the State Peace and Reconciliation Initiative.
As far as we are concerned, this is the end of our participation in this act of banditry. We will also talk to those among us who we believe can listen to us, for them also to stop this action of banditry.
Zamfara Governor Bello Muhammad Matawalin Maradun expressed satisfaction over the development and assured that his administration will continue to negotiate with bandits until peace is restored in the state. The governor stressed that dialogue with bandits remains the only option for peace and vowed to do everything within his power to continue with the ongoing peace and reconciliation deal aimed at ensuring that more bandits accept peace.
But here in Zamfara, we will continue with this dialogue. We will continue engaging these people.
Reports said that the victims expressed gratitude to the Matawalli administration for being proactive in ensuring that kidnapped victims regained freedom. The Commissioner of Police, Zamfara State Command, CP Abu Tuyaru, has commenced an operational tour of inspection to locations where operatives of Operation Pop Adder 1 and 2 and police special forces were strategically deployed in the state. The tour is part of efforts to ensure effective and efficient performance of police personnel deployed in Zamfara state. It will also enable the Commissioner of Police to have an overview of their operational strength and capacity so that appropriate adjustments could be made to enhance their performance. During the operational visit, the Commissioner visited Kwashi Adapka in Bokoyum, Dambaza in Maradun, and Mayanche in Maru local government areas respectively. The CP in his address to the officers and men charged them to be professionally alive to their constitutional mandate so that members of the communities can feel the impact of their presence. In its resumed sitting, the Zamfara State House of Assembly, under the leadership of Speaker Nasiru Maaz Magaria, has summoned the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Abubakar Muhammad Dauran, on Wednesday next week for an emergency meeting with him under the committee of a whole to brief them on some grey areas regarding the security challenges in the state. The House had also passed a vote of confidence on the State Governor Bello Muhammad Matawalin Maradun in his foresight of initiating non-kinetic approach through the use of dialogue with bandits aimed at resolving the protracted security situation in the state. For more details on the story, Musa Joy reports.
The House in session also called on the Ulama Consultative Council to, as a matter of urgency, engage the bandits with preaching prayer session, has been exemplified by a renowned Islamic scholar, Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Gumi, to complement state government efforts in that direction. This followed a motion under matters of urgent public importance raised before the House by the Deputy House Leader Alhaji Nasru Bello Lawa Bungudu. He drew the attention of his colleagues on the need to hold and encourage the peace initiative of the state governor through dialogue with bandits as the last option of ensuring a lasting peace, not only in the state but to the immediate neighboring states. Both Deputy Chief Whip of the House, Alhaji Ibrahim Mohammed Tala, Alhaji Kabiru Hamis Sudan Sudo, and Alhaji Ibrahim Tudun Tukur Bakura, feel their weight to the motion raised by the Deputy House Leader on non-kinetic approach of the state governor. However, the House Leader Alhaji Farouk Musa Dosara was of the opinion that rigorous sensitization and awareness campaign to the general public on the need to embrace dialogue rather than confrontational approach should vigorously be pursued by the state government, while ulamas in the state under their council should fully engage the bandits through preaching and prayer session rather than waiting for an Islamic Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Gumi. Musa Joy Onyoda, SBTV News, Gusau.
The House of Representatives has urged the federal government to lift the embargo on employment into federal ministries, departments and agencies. This followed the adoption of a motion by Rep. Sani Bala APC Kano on the floor of the House on Wednesday in Abuja. Alhaji Bala in his motion said President Muhammadu Buhari had in October 2019, while presenting the 2020 budget, announced an embargo on recruitment in government ministries, departments and agencies, MDEs. He said that the president had also maintained the federal government's stand on the embargo due to the devastating effect of COVID-19 pandemic and the fall in global oil prices. He said that by its role as the major employer of labor in the country, the action of the federal government not to sack or reduce the salaries of its workers at the time was encouraging. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has bossed a syndicate that specializes in importing cakes, biscuits and other confections baked with drugs for the rich in Lagos State. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency recorded the breakthrough when its operatives raided some drug spots in Agege, Ikorodu, Lekki, Okokomaiko, and other parts of the state, dismantled major drug syndicate, arrested suspects, and seized large quantities of hard drugs. According to the NDLEA, one of the drug syndicate boss during the raid is coordinated by one Samuel Ebenezer in Lekki. His cartel imports special sophisticated drugs baked in cakes, biscuits and cookies from the United States and sells to the rich and affluent people in Lekki and Lagos Island. During the raid, a total of 90 suspects, including an Indian, were arrested, while over 614 kilograms of various types of drugs were seized. The Kaduna State Police Command has arrested 5 suspects for criminal conspiracy, kidnapping and culpable homicide. The arrest followed a complaint through DPO Pembegua from one Abdullahi Salihu, a resident of Pembegua village, alleging that on the 9th of December 2020, his elder brother, one Alhaji Ahmadu of the same address, traveled to Delta State and since then never returned. The complaint further stated that on the 12th December 2020, he received a phone call via an anonymous number informing him that his aforesaid brother is in the custody of the caller and demanded 4 million naira as ransom for his release. Reports said the amount was paid, but the abductors failed to release the victim and demanded for an additional 1 million naira, which the family obliged, yet could not secure the freedom of the victim. On receipt of the complaint, the command immediately swung into action using the available intelligence, technical support, and succeeded in arresting one Musa Adamu in Wase local government area of Plateau State in connection to the incident. Upon interrogation, he made mention of his accomplices and equally confirmed that they have since killed the victim. Tricycle riders who embarked on strike in Kano State have called off their industrial action. For more details on this story, over on to Aminu Adda Okutama.
The leadership of the Amalgamated Commercial Tricycle Riders of Nigeria in the state ordered its members to resume operations with immediate effect. The chairman of the association, Mansur Tanimu, confirmed this on Tuesday in a telephone conversation with our correspondent. He said the decision is an outcome of a meeting held on Tuesday evening between Kano State Roads and Traffic Agency, Karota, on one hand, and the Nigeria Labour Congress Kano State chapter and their union on the other. The strike was called to protest 100 naira daily tax enforced by the state government. through Karuta. Briefing journalists at the joint press conference earlier at Karuta headquarters, the state NLC chapter chairman in Kano State, Kabira Ado Munjaba, said the warring parties have agreed to share their swords. According to him, arising from the impasse between the Karuta and the leadership of the Tricycle's Riders and Owners Association, the leadership, NLC, TUC, JNC, and the KCSF summoned a joint meeting chaired by Comrade Kabira Ado Munjaba, who is the NLC chairman in Kano State, with the MD of Karuta, Baffa Babadang Agundi. Munjaba further stated that after extensive and fruitful deliberations, both parties agreed to toe the path of peace as Tricycle Riders decided to call out the strike. He, however, listed resolutions reached at the peace parley to include that all Tricycle Riders in Kano State are to pay a token tax of 100 naira daily as provided by the Kano State Revenue Administration Law, Schedule 2 item of the Contingency Charges Amendment Law of 2017. Meanwhile, the Kano State Police Command said it has so far arrested 77 people, including 13 students, between Monday and Tuesday for attacking motorists and passers-by in the guise of tricycle operators' protest. In another development, however, the Kano State government and the State House of Assembly have said that they are going to introduce new modalities to the operation of the tricycle riders in the state in response to the strike. Aminat Lawgutama with the report.
The Taraba State House of Assembly on Wednesday passed the Discrimination, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Bill 2021 into law. The new law proposes death sentence for anyone who has carnal knowledge of a child and life imprisonment for transgenders respectively in the state. Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Dr. Joseph Albasu Kunini, who is the sponsor of the bill, said that as leaders, the legislators have the moral responsibility to protect members of the public from gross moral decadence that was fast engulfing the world with grave consequences. Dr. Kununi said children who are most vulnerable and susceptible to the vices of psychopaths must be protected at all costs, and assured that the House will do everything to protect them and other vulnerable sections of the society. The Senate on Wednesday screened and confirmed ABDULRASHEED Bawa as the substantive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The nominee, who was ushered into the Red Chamber at 11:48 a.m., was accompanied by the officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and family members and was grilled almost for 2 hours. Mr. Bawa, in his opening remarks before the Committee of the Whole, assured Nigerians that he would deploy his experience as a certified fraud examiner and anti-money laundering specialist in raising the bar under his watch at the EFCC.
Case involving any politically exposed person has a chance of taking you around the world to all the tax havens, to other countries in Europe and in America. So why is that funding? A single case may cost you maybe 10 to 20 million naira. What is the budget for investigation that we have? But I believe that proper funding can change the face of law enforcement in this country.
Say aye. Those against any, the ayes have it.
The Deputy Senate President, Senator Obi Omo Agege, who was filled with praise for Bawa, described his nomination as one that strikes a ray of hope in the ability of the youth to partake in fundamental decisions on how Nigeria should be governed.
Are you going to push for the Unexplained Wealth Act and Order that is very basic and necessary in fighting money laundering and financial crimes?
I want you to tell this distinguished Senate what you will be doing differently to ensure that what is recovered by EFCC in terms of funding, in terms of cash, actually reflect what is remitted into the government coffers.
I believe that's your wife there.
Yes.
Pray for your husband very well. I'll pray for you too.
Thank you very much.
Because we want to see a lot of youth like you showing the other youths around Nigeria that if you want to get to the top, you don't have to be destructive.
He is a good product. That is why I like to begin, Mr. President, by thanking Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, for this nomination.
Senator Omo Agege said the nomination is unique and aspirational that will generate hope for millions of youths in the country. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum was at 2 hospitals on Wednesday after Boko Haram fighters fired shots from rocket-propelled grenades, on which killed 10 residents and 47 injured in Maiduguri. The shot on Tuesday night came from Kaleri, an outskirt of Maiduguri. Governor Zulum confirmed the attacks during his empathy visit to the State Specialist Hospital and the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, both in Maiduguri. The governor was told that some of the victims had sustained various degrees of injuries and were being treated, for which he directed that the State Ministry of Health shoulders the bills. Speaking on the military's regain of Marche, which came under Boko Haram's occupation a few days ago, Governor Zulum said he was not just pleased but also optimistic that the Nigerian military will work hard to continue its peace-building and stability efforts in ways that should ensure the insurgents do not take Marche again or any part of the state. Let me quickly take you to our business desk for the business update.
Welcome to Business Desk. Ministries, departments and agencies were forced to remit 1.7 trillion naira into the Consolidated Revenue Fund in 11 years. The MDAs did not willingly remit the funds. They were made to return the monies because they were proceeds of corruption. Having remitted thus much to the Consolidated Revenue Fund, it has been revealed that MDAs are yet to return another 1 trillion naira to the coffers. Chairman of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, Mr. Victor Morocco, made this known when he paid a courtesy call on the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission in Abuja. According to him, the Fiscal Responsibility Commission has caused over 1.75 trillion naira to be remitted to the Consolidated Revenue Fund in the last 11 years. He also said agencies of government are in deficit of over 1 trillion naira, which a close working relationship with the ICPC can help retrieve and further block loopholes in public finance management. And that's all on Standard Voice Business Update. I am Musa Joy Onyoda. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Musa Joy. On international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari Tuesday evening spoke with Muhammad Yusufu, his Niger Republic counterpart, to congratulate him on the peaceful conduct of the run-of elections in the West African state. In a telephone conversation between the two, President Muhammadu Buhari also congratulated President Yusuf on the provisional outcome of the elections, in which the candidate of the ruling party, Mr. Bazoum Muhammad of the Party for Democracy and Socialism, Tarayya, won with 55.75% against the former president, Mr. Muhammad Usmani of the RDRT Changi. President Muhammadu Buhari joined the international observers, including ECOWAS, the African Union, the United Nations missions, and others, in expressing satisfaction with the conduct of the elections. He urged all aggrieved persons to follow the due process of the law and to avoid the instigation of violence and other disruptive processes. Still on the international scene, customs authorities in Germany and Belgium have seized a record amount of cocaine, more than 23 tons, that was destined for the Netherlands. German officials discovered 16 tons in 5 shipping containers that had arrived in the port of Hamburg from Paraguay earlier this month. Police in the Netherlands were notified, and a further 7.2 tons of cocaine was seized at the Belgian port of Antwerp. German officials said the cocaine has a street value of billions of euros. Dutch police said on Wednesday that a 28-year-old man suspected of involvement in the trafficking of the drugs has been arrested in the Netherlands. Customs officials said the 2 raids, which took place earlier this month, resulted in the seizure of an enormous amount of cocaine. Let me take you to our sports desk for the sport updates.
Hello, welcome to Standard Voice Television Sports Room. I am Abu Sufyan Abubakar, and as usual, I bring the sports updates. Turkish Women's Cup champions Nigerian Super Falcon will arrive Abuja on Thursday, 25th of February 2021, after emerging as champion at the tournament in Antalya. The team is expected to leave Turkey in batches, with some of them arriving Abuja while others will touch down in Lagos on Friday. Coach Randy Waldrum was expected to return to his base in the United States on Wednesday night, while some of the foreign base will return to their respective clubs on Friday. Meanwhile, in their final tournament match on Wednesday, the African champions steamrolled Equatorial Guinea's Zalang National 9-0 in the third tier and final match of the Turkish Women's Cup competition, played at the Emir Sports Complex in Antalya on Tuesday morning. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Sofian. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. 12 kidnapped victims regained freedom from bandits in Zamfara state. House of Representatives urged federal government to lift embargo on employment into civil service. Senate confirms ABDULRASHEED Bawa as EFCC chairman. On business, ministries, departments and agencies return 1.7 trillion naira corruption proceeds to federal government. On international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari expresses satisfaction with the election outcome in Niger Republic. On sports, victorious Falcons depart Turkey in batches. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatuno, I am Samir Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.